Hello everyone and welcome to the first game we'll be showing from the Uzbek Chess, the second edition. It is, an incredible tournament, 10-player round robin featuring some of the most amazing players, 4 players from Uzbekistan and 6 guests. The entire lineup consists of Javokre Sindarov, Richard Rapport, Arjun Erigaisi, Nodirbek Abdusatorov, Aravinch Tambaram, Pragnananda, Yani Pomnishi, Parham Maksudlu, Nodirbek Yakubboev and Shamsidin Bokidov. So, any game will likely be fought to the death, and the time control is a pretty standard one. You get an hour and 30 minutes for the first 40 moves, then you get an additional half an hour. Only one thing that I myself don't prefer is that you have increment from move 1, which sometimes tends to make the games less exciting. But obviously this tournament is not the case, because even with this time format we get a game like this as the one I'm about to show you. So let's check it out. First game we're covering, Nodirbek Yakubboev versus Arjun Erigaisi. Let's check it out. So Nodirbek with white opens with pawn to d4. And as you probably already figured it out, I'm currently traveling, I'm in a different setting. I will be covering maybe 1 or 2 games per day. So if you have any suggestions, you know what to do. So d4, we have pawn to d6. Arjun says, all right, I want to fight. We can make this whatever you want. We can make this a d4, e4, knight f3. So you choose. And Nodirbek shifts to pawn to e4. And he goes, or rather now fights against the Pirc defense. We have knight to f6 and bishop to d3. This is the second most popular continuation. Knight to c3, still the more popular one. Pawn to e5 and pawn to c3. Just keeping the, keeping the strong center here. We have knight b to d7 and knight to f3, and the sort of prolonged pawn, or the delayed pawn to d5. D captures on e5, we have d captures on e4, and now you really have to trade. There's not much you can do. You could maybe try castling here, but e captures on f6 is on the board. We have e captures on f3, e captures on d3, also possible. You could try something like this, and then after captures, you do get a queen to a very nice square. Then, for example, castles, bishop to e3, and all of this is perfectly fine. But after e captures, we have e captures on f3 and f captures on g7. Bishop captures on g7 and queen captures on f3, which is nothing weird. It's all been played before, so okay, let's move on. We have knight to e5 attacking the queen on f3 and the bishop on d3, and bishop to b5 check, hoping to keep the bishop pair, and then you can maybe remaneuver the queen to e2 to put pressure on the knight. Bishop to d7 blocking, and now there are a couple of games where queen to e2 was played, and queen to e2 is by far the strongest move recommended by the engine. But here we have queen captures on b7. This is a new move, so already as of move 11 we have a completely new game. But even more than that, it's a blunder that loses the game for white. Incredible as it is, it's not easy to spot why, because you have to, there's only one move and one line that destroys white. So you might, what would you play here as black? That's a fair question. Have at it. Pause the video and try to figure it out. So the only move that allows black to maintain a winning position is castle's kingside. And to show you a little bit why this is, so let's say you play rook b8, because it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't you? There's a bishop on b5. Well, okay, now we trade with check, and after knight captures on d7, you go queen e4 check, and now you can even block with the queen. It's not a problem, but white will happily trade, and after all is said and done, white is up 2 pawns, and 2 pawns is more than enough to win the game. There's a pawn on c3, so the dark square bishop isn't, all that impressive, and the white king can easily come to d1 to c2, and there's nothing that black can do here. Black does not have a light square bishop. So it's not the best, as you already gave up material. So after queen captures on b7, Arjun played castle's king side, which is by far the best. And now bishop captures on d7 does not come with check. And also now, if you try castling, for example, rook to b8 just wins a piece. So you have to trade on d7 right away. Bishop captures, but now knight to d3 check, and that white king is not going anywhere. We have king to f1, and now queen captures on d7, and now, well, white is just in a pretty tough spot with the king on f1. You will have to waste a few more moves before you get the rook into the game, and the king to, if we can even call that safety. Knight to a3, preparing to shift the knight to c4, but now rook f to e8, already threatening mate in 1. So you have to develop the bishop, bishop to e3, rook 8 to b8. The bishop has been developed, so b2 has been weakened. However, Nodirbek didn't really have much choice there. We have queen back to f3, and rook captures on b2. Okay, knight to c4. Finally, you activate with tempo. The rook on b2 is attacked. Rook to c2. Now putting a lot of pressure on that c3 pawn. And rook to d1. Nicely aligning the rook with the black queen on d7. Queen to a4. Now with some threats of, well, many threats here that rook on d1 will be perhaps misplaced if the queen on f3 moves. So knight to d2, and now rook captures on a2, even exposing the rook on d1 right away and preparing rook to a1. So Nodirbek goes pawn to h3, creates a little bit of breathing room for that white king if you can manage the time, but rook to a1 right away. We have king to e2, you have to defend the rook here, there's no other way to do it. So king to e2, and now I could ask you to pause the video. I imagine all of you see it right away, because queen captures on b7 was a mistake that for a player like Arjun, he probably calculated it all the way to here. So if you want, you can always pause the video. It's not like I can stop you. Knight to f4 with check. And now the problem is, if you go back, king e1 to defend the rook on d1, just bishop captures on c3. And now look at this. Bishop captures on d2. I mean, there's not much you can do here. The rook here is pinning the bishop. The rook is pinning this rook. So not a lot you can do here. It's silly to even try and imagine a move for white. So after knight captures on f4, queen captures on f4 was played. You have to give up the queen. Queen captures on f4. And now the sad reality of the matter is that Arjun just has a queen for a knight, which is a huge difference. So rook captures on a1, grabbing another rook, and now bishop captures on c3. Okay, you grabbed a little bit of material, but still you are without a move. Rook captures on a7 was played. Now queen to g5, just going after the g2 pawn. We have knight to c4, offering the pawn, maybe hoping for something, but now you don't capture on g2. Even though you could, it's completely winning. Queen to b5, pins the knight. We have king to d3 defending, but I mean, look at this position. If I showed you this position and told you that this was a 26th move in a game between two, not just grandmasters, really strong grandmasters, you'd be like, no, that's my uncle playing. And yeah, queen to b3. And it was in this position on move 26 that Nodirbek Yakubboev resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So, you know, definitely an incredible start for Arjun. Of course, he's the favorite to win the game, but yeah, I mean, the eagle has landed. This is, you know, beautiful stuff here. And the games are being played fairly early compared to where I am in Croatia. So the second round is already being played. Like I said, sorry about the delay. I'm currently traveling. I will cover as much as I can, as I mean, it is an incredible tournament, plus a classical one. We don't have many of those these days. Make sure, you know, be sure I will cover them. So here you resign because what you can, I mean, you're already down too much material, but one check and you're going to lose more material. It's a king e2, you're going to lose the knight, and I mean, okay, we don't really have to go beyond this point. Yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Really nice start to the game. First, the game that we are covering from the UzChess Chess second edition. Arjun Erigaisi wins a beautiful game. I would like to thank Torquil Stenquist, Felix Steinel, Seshadri Subramanian, Andrej Schrade, and James Anderson, plus SPX6900, becoming one of the top 3 contributors to the channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. Continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And if there's something weird with the setup, with the video, with the audio, as you know, I'm traveling, I have to set it all up. Mention it in the comments, and I will pick it up in the next video. See you soon.